Joseph Godbrick, a 45-year-old man convicted of possession of child pornography, claims that he is and always has been an 8-year-old girl. Now, anyone not part of the indoctrinated left could have seen this coming. This is why we Americans shouldn't let leftist ideology trump common sense and scientific fact. A long time ago, the left gave up on facts. That's why they acknowledge genders they know don't exist or make laws to force people to use pronouns that the left determines is proper. For the record, there are only two genders. You can express them in any manner you choose, but there are still only two genders. However, the left disagrees. We are now entering in what I call the era where whatever you feel is true. I don't know how we got in this twilight zone, but I truly do not want to be here. I have nothing against the furry community. And I would believe that most Americans have no problem with furries. But if their fun time was forced onto us by laws stating that we had to accept that they're really the animals they pretend to be, there would be justifiable backlash. As long as an individual is not discriminated against or hindered from their pursuit of happiness, they are owed nothing else from society. I'm gay. I feel that the LGBTQ community is accepted now more than ever before. With the passage of gay marriage, there should be nothing else the LGBTQ community should expect from society. But I would be wrong. For example, the trans community wants to force pronouns on us. And what's worse, they push the narrative that trans women are as real as biologically born women. Let me clarify. I personally know several trans women and a couple of trans men that are as real as rain, but biologically, they will always be the sex they were born as, regardless of their gender presentation. I personally, I respect a person's decision on what gender they want to represent. And I would call them by the pronouns that is appropriate to the gender they choose. But that's my decision, as it should be for all Americans. We shouldn't be forced into using pronouns that people religiously it goes against their religious beliefs, or just the fact that it's scientifically wrong. They have the right to not be forced to go against facts just to appease a small segment of the population. Leftist government policies shouldn't trample over our freedom of speech just to appease, like I said, the sensitivities of a small segment of the population. Fuck it. Even if it was the majority of the population, don't trample over our freedom. Every progressive issue leads to divisiveness and discrimination. Take the ever-growing number of genders. The left, instead of siding with science and common sense, is put on his tinfoil hat and said that there are more than two genders, and stating otherwise is discriminatory and facilitating the erasure of the non-binary people. The left can never allow their policies to be challenged with logic, so all opposition that comes to them come from bigotry. Elizabeth Warren said if she wins, half of her cabinet will be non-binary. And for those that don't know, non-binary means that they don't believe in our two-gender society. They believe that there could be many genders. Even though I think that the whole, and before I go on that, Elizabeth Warren, that is totally batshit crazy, because basically she's saying that I'm going to discriminate against half of the population of America. or more than half, really, because more than half of it, because you're just going to take half of the people that's just non-binary. Why are they doing it? They just keep pushing this shit. Why not get the person that's best for the job? That is what you're supposed to do. That is what we want. We want the best people for the job. Not filling some type of quota so you can look like you're diverse. That means nothing. That means nothing. It's crazy. Like I say, even though I might think that the whole genderqueer issue is silly, those that subscribe to that belief are free to do so and should not be discriminated against. But that is not good enough for the genderqueer community. They are not happy with just acceptance. They want to destroy heterosexuality. They have this term. It's called heteronormativity, I think it is pronounced like that, which is the assumption in individuals or institutions that everyone is heterosexual and that heterosexuality is superior to all other sexualities. This leads to invisibility and stigmatizing of other sexualities. And then they even go further with example. When learning a woman is married, asking her what her husband's name is. Something that stupid. They want to disparage people for. That's politeness. That's being polite. I'm gay, but if it's someone when I'm married also. But if someone came up to me and said, "How was your wife?" I wouldn't get offended. Let's not be deceived. The most of the people in this country are heterosexual. Heterosexuality is the majority. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that if you come across a person that says they're married, that 8 out of 10 times, they are married to a heterosexual person. But this term of heteronormativity is a divisive term that puts the genderqueer community at odds with the heterosexual community. How can our nation unite when the Democrats keep finding ways to divide us? And when you think about it, the fact that there is a such thing as transgender children is bad enough. But when that child dances in a fucking gay bar and those that protested are deemed transphobic, that's crazy. Or a transgender teen can write a book about giving oral sex at 6 years old and liking it. Where the fuck are we headed as a society? I'll tell you exactly where we're headed. We end up with a 45-year-old pedophile claiming he's an 8-year-old fucking girl. In one of my first podcasts, the subject was why we have to be vigilant against leftism. At that time, I was ranting because there was a people of the genderqueer community that was bashing people that based their sexual attraction on gender. I warned then that the left's attack on our way of life is getting out of control. Democrats love the chaos that their social justice causes. Mark my words, the leftist movement is going to reach pedophiles. Sadly, I see today that Democrats will actually advocate in favor of pedophiles. In 2014, a New York Times article entitled "Pedophilia, a Disorder, Not a Crime," stated, acknowledging that pedophiles have a mental disorder and removing the obstacle to their coming forward and seeking help is not only the right thing to do. The day is coming when leftists will speak about pedophiles being victims. They will ignore the children whose lives are forever damaged by these disgusting pedophiles. This occurrence is a real possibility. It is not as far-fetched as it sounds. We never thought years ago that anyone, let alone liberals, would allow the sexualization of children. We conservatives say let them be kids, but the left won't let that happen. They want to teach our kids sex education. And this is not till teenagers. We're doing this to children under the age of 12. They make books and cartoons about homosexuality. And don't get me wrong, like I said earlier, I'm gay. But I believe that it's a parent's job and their decision to decide when to educate their children on sex and different sexual orientations, not the government. This world we live in is very understanding and caring. I was living in Coney Island, New York during Superstorm Sandy. I saw firsthand the kindness and the camaraderie amongst friends and strangers that worked together so that we all could survive that ordeal. Liberalism instead is enforcing tribalism on us. It is impossible for us to unite when the left is constantly bombarding us with ways to divide us and issues that divide us. Whether it's the fake issue that cops kill more blacks, which divide blacks in the police department, the term toxic masculinity that divides men and women, socialist programs that divide the working class and the non-working beneficiaries of those programs, or to even the gender queer community that divides themselves with the LGBTQ community as well as the straight community. They actually attack both institutions whom they seek to destroy because of that idea that sexual attraction should be based on gender. Only leftist logic would have Democrats thinking that purposely dividing the nation on a host of issues would unify this country. We have to do away with, once and for all leftist ideology. It's tearing at the fabric of this nation, and I fear that one day these manufactured divisions will destroy the greatest country this world has ever seen.